Back when I started university 6 years ago, I came across an ultimate hack for creativity and productivity called sitting at your desk and actually just working. For a lot of us, work is a place called the desk, which is why right across YouTube there are a lot of people who have put an insane amount of effort into their workspaces to get the most out of it, with some setups being more questionable than others. But regardless of your setup, it's a space that you will most likely spend a lot of time in, so I would argue that we owe it to ourselves to make it as enjoyable and effective as possible. So to hopefully give you a bit of inspiration, here's my artsy and productive desk setup that I slowly built up over the years.
The number you have dialed is not available at present. Please leave your message after the beep.
Yeah, trendsetter. Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, is no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no different. Blindfold on me, I still got the most vision. Trendsetter told them before, but they don't listen. Better, bring a better bad because I'm bigger, better. Solo, single, selling several shows at every single second. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Kinda came and crushed the competition, hope they get the message. Look, living it fast, spinning my M in the bag. I never go slow, thinking I'll crash. End up a thing in the past, they know I won't though. Big fish catch.
Before we get to the desk setup itself, we have to talk about the hardware underneath that's powering everything up top. Around 2 years ago, I had this computer custom built to hopefully have a better experience with video editing and gaming, but since then this build has honestly far exceeded my expectations, so while I won't get too technical, here are the exact specs if you are curious or are looking for inspiration for a more budget-friendly setup that can still handle some pretty big projects. Over time, I've also just added some stickers from local artists. It's something that I would recommend everyone do, just adds a bit more personality. As we move over to the top side of the desk setup, we have to start with the centerpiece of it all, an LG ultra-wide monitor. Honestly, for me, I just love having the large amount of screen real estate, especially when I'm doing video editing. Just gives me enough space to move everything around in, and mixed with the color accuracy that LG is known for, it's kind of just become a must-have in my opinion when it comes to content creation, photo editing, and watching videos or films. It's one of those subtle things where once you've used an ultra-wide monitor for the first time, it's hard to go back because you really come to appreciate the spaciousness that comes with it and just having some breathing room in general on the screen when you're busy working. Next up, the main way in which I control everything on screen is via the Logitech G305 wireless mouse. Paired with customizable buttons, a simple design, and a battery that lasts longer than some of my high school relationships did, this mouse has definitely made me much more trusting of adding wireless tech to my setup. Next up, transitioning to the keyboard, we have the Logitech G213. While not a true mechanical keyboard, the keys are still tuned for tactile feedback, which gives them a kind of weightiness that's very satisfying to type on, and it's highly customizable, so I can adjust the aesthetics to whatever I'm in the mood for. Speaking of Logitech, let's shift over to the audio with their Z120 speakers. Despite their compact size, the speakers still pack a punch, and best of all, they can fit right underneath my computer monitor, making for a very simple and unobtrusive sound solution. On the topic of sound, I also have a heavily used pair of JBL 500 wireless headphones. These headphones have been through thick and thin with me, delivering great sound quality, amazing comfort, and a chance to just block out the rest of the world whenever I need to edit videos, focus while studying, or simply just rock out to a new playlist. I'm a big believer in mixing digital and analog, which brings me to what I like to call my pile of thoughts. Essentially just a collection of notebooks and books that I regularly return to, including a small daily reflection journal, daily reminders from Stoicism, a custom notebook from my favorite artist, a Keith Haring inspired notebook with notes on life, and lastly, The Creative Act, a very useful book that talks about creativity and making things. Finally, I also keep a small collection of blank notebooks from Kurzgesagt, which I use to note down anything and everything that I want to revisit at a later stage. On the topic of inspiration, I also make sure to keep a lot of interest pieces on my desk to add to the fun factor. This includes artworks by one of my favorite artists called Lumichen, decor pieces that I find interesting, including a black sand hourglass, as well as some Lego cars, specifically a black 1970s Dodge Charger, and a bright red 1970s Ferrari 512, because if you haven't noticed yet, I quite like vintage aesthetics. For some added color, I have these hardback copies of some of my favorite books from the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson, and in the corner I also just keep some fake plants to add a bit of extra warmth and softness to the space. When it comes to phones, I'm currently rocking a pre-owned iPhone 12 Pro, which I use to manage a lot of my daily admin, and it also just doubles as my backup camera. Unfortunately, it also serves as a big source of distraction, so I have this little dedicated space for it when I'm busy studying or working to keep it out of my line of sight. So with all that being said, I hope you found this setup interesting and that you could find some inspiration from it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.